Hi everyone, my name is Abdul and today we are going to learn about introduction to programming. Let's get started. In this video, we are going to cover the topics like what is programming, how do we write code, and how do we get information from computers, and what can computers do. First of all, you will get a question that what is programming? Programming is the process of creating a set of instructions that tell a computer how to perform a task. In simple words, attempting to get a computer to complete a specific task without making mistakes. So here we will take an daily life example. Imagine that your friend is non-intelligent and you instruct him to build a Lego set. So he lost the instructions, so he can only build based on your commands. If there is one piece wrong, the entire Lego set will be gone. Okay? For that, you need to give the instructions to your friend exactly. Like that only, computers are also not intelligent. If there is even one letter or one word wrong, then the entire program will not work. Okay, so you should give the instructions to the computer exactly by writing program. Computers are dumb. We think that computers are very smart. We think that whatever we are typing is showing, but they are not intelligent. Computers are only smart because we program them. Everyone has their own language, like we speak English, we speak many languages. But in computers, there is a language called machine code. It's a series of ones and zeros fed and interpreted by the computer. Only way computer can read English instructions. Okay, the language of code. For example, you speak English and your friend speaks Mandarin. It makes impossible for you to talk with him or him to talk with you. Okay? So for that, you need to convert your instructions from English to Mandarin in order for to talk, understand them or him or you. Okay? Now with computer. Therefore, in order to talk to computer, you must first translate your English instructions to binary. Okay? Like here you can see zeros. A series of ones and zeros fed and interpreted by the computer is also known as machine code and binary number. Okay. So programming languages. In programming also there are many languages like our we speak English, we speak many languages like Arabic. There are many lots of languages. But in computers also there are many languages like there are HTML, Python, Java, JavaScript, C++. Okay, programming languages serve as middleman of sorts. Okay, translate your instructions into machine code. Okay, what is programming? Programming languages serve as interpreters for converting languages into other languages. It's faster than converting by hand. Okay, how languages vary? Each language is unique in how they operate. Java and Python, they are for only general purposes languages. But HTML and CSS are designed for specific tasks. Each language also varies in how powerful it is. JavaScript isn't used for big problems, and Java and Python are used. Okay. In programming languages also there are two types of programming languages. One is high level and second is low level. Each language has also an attribute known as power or level. Okay, basically how similar it is to machine code. Low level programming languages like assembly or C in high level programming languages Java and Python. Okay. Each language has other minor differences. Explore to find one which like since there are thousands of programming languages. Now we have learned about what is programming, right? Go ahead. How do we write code? Now that we know what is programming and how the computer understands the code, How do we actually write code? Sending instructions. We can't simply type words. We can't simply type words into a text document and accept that the computer is able to carry out a task. No. To properly send instructions to the computer, we need programming languages. But we also can't type in a certain language and accept the same thing. Okay, after programming languages, there are something known as IDEs. IDEs. We use IDEs like the full form of IDEs is Integrated Development in Environments. It's to write code. It's a place to write, run, and debug code and also convert it into the machine code. IDEs are like any other program on your computer except used for the facilitation of code. Like examples, that means IntelliJ VS Code. Like for example, you are writing some letter to your friend, okay, and where you will write, you can write on many places, but the best place to write is on the paper, okay. So paper is a place to write, but now we will write that how do we write code. IDE functionality. In addition to place to write code, IDEs also include built-in error checking, okay, autofill for frequently used words, okay, a big step from previously used methods of programming. An IDE looks like this. Usually it has a central area for writing code, okay. It has some additional windows such as one for consoles, etc. Using an IDE, each language has its own set of rules you must follow within an IDE. You can't simply type rubbish in an IDE, convert it into machine code, and accept the computer to understand it. You need syntax. So, what's syntax? We will learn about it. Learning languages. Learning computer language can be very similar to learning a real language. All programming languages have a set of rules you must follow when writing code in that language, just like in code in real language, okay. In computer science it's called syntax. Like in our English it's known as grammar, right? In computer it's known as syntax. So what is syntax? Syntax: rules you must follow a T if you want your program to run correctly. How you type out certain functions, like what you put at the end of each line of code, and how you set up certain functions. Syntax for each programming languages is unique. In Python it's different, in Java, in JavaScript, in every programming language it's different. Breaking programming rules will result in an error, okay. Variable example. As an example, let's initialize a variable in Java, Python and JavaScript. Okay, we have not covered variables, but basically they hold the information. In each, we have to follow different rules to complete the same task. Okay, in Java it will be like this: int variable is equal to 3, and after that semicolon is there in Java. But in Python, x is equal to 3 we can give, and in JavaScript we can give for x var x is equal to 3. First of all, we will talk about Java specifics. In Java, we must specify which type of variable we are defining and also add a semicolon at the end of line. But in Python, we just type what we want to create. But in JavaScript, we must specify we are making a variable, but don't define what type of variable. Okay. In Java we have done. We are telling that here you can see we specify which type of variable we are defining, which type of. But in Python, what we are doing is we are creating what we want. But in JavaScript, we are not defining which type of variable it is. Okay, and we are specifying that we are making a variable. Okay. Syntax matters. As you can see, just this simple example, syntax matters when learning a new language. The goal of the program was the same, but all three different languages shown took different approaches. Okay. So, what if you mess up? If you forget one semicolon or misplace a character, then the entire program will not run and send you back a syntax error. Like here you can see, from the time what we are doing, we are giving int variable is equal to 3 and then semicolon. But now what we are doing, we have removed t and just we are giving in variable is equal to 3 in Java. And Python what we are doing, x is equal to 3, then some star and underscore we are giving. And in JavaScript we are giving everything, but between below of the dash we are not giving is equals to, here we are giving here underscore. Okay, so it changes your syntax. So we'll take an real life example like here. This is similar to forgetting comma in an English sentence, and the entire context of a statement will be misinterpreted. So we'll take this example. Let's eat grandma. Okay, let's eat grandma. So here you can see comma. So if you remove this comma, let's eat grandma means come and eat my grandma. But in this here, if you remove this comma, what this meaning will be? Let's eat her. Okay, let's eat grandma. Built-in error checks. Okay, another cool thing about IDEs is that they will let you know if and when there are syntax error in your code. Parts of your code which do not follow the rules, like here you can see int variable is equal to 3 and semicolon. But if there is some syntax usually underlined in the red like the above, like this. Okay, now we have learned about what's programming and how do we write code, but now we don't know how do we get information from computer. We will learn about it. How do we get information from computers? The console. Programming must keep track of their progress by looking at the console, a text interface within the computer that tell us programmers can use for a variety of purposes. Like, the main use of the console is to output text from the program using code. More specifically, a print statement prints text to the console for the programmer's viewing pleasure. Like this. To use print statement, simply instruct the console to print and then include whatever you want to be printed inside the parentheses. Using Python, we can print to the console like so. For example, if we give here print and then in the quotation marks if we give hello world, then in the console it will give like this, hello world. Okay, go ahead. Printing 4 plus 3, like this. Example, computing 4 plus 3 will print nothing to the console, like it gives us some error. 4 plus 3, nothing will be in the console, there it will give some error. But if you are adding something known as print, okay, then in the console it will be 7, the answer will be 7. Okay, example, we are taking this example in Java. From that time we are taking in the Python, right? Now we will take in Java. There are actually multiple versions of print statement depending on whether or not you want a line break. Okay, like this you can see on the screen. A background tone. The console is mainly a developer tool, not usually meant to be used and interacted with by the end user, except in very abstract cases. Tends to be hidden away behind the scenes. And don't try and implement the console in the final product. Okay. We have learned about what's programming and how do we write code, and now we have learned about how do we get information from computers. Now what we need to do, we need to learn what can computers do. Computers are dumb, but how dumb? Do they know anything? No, we will learn about it. What can computers do? Math. The computers already knows how to do simple arithmetic, additional, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And you will be able to print the results of any math operation in an IDE that you may install, whether it's a Sublime Text, VS Code, whatever it is. May seem useless but comes in handy extremely often. Okay, we will take a calculator example. Right. Building a calculator app, we would need to utilize this functionality in order to talk correctly display the answer to an arithmetic problem. Okay, there will be something known as modulus. Most programming languages has additional operator known as modulus, represented with like the symbol. Okay, what is it? Like we had done in maths, we will find some, if we do some division we will find some remainder. Okay, like this also, if you want to find remainder in the computer also, you can give. Okay, like this, if we give here print in Python 10 modulus 3, it's known as modulus, it finds the remainder, and in the console it shows 1. But if we give here 50 modulus 2, what is modulus 2? It's zeros, then the computer will simply print 0. Evens and odds. This is extremely useful when determining a number if a number is even or odd. If a number modulo 2 is 0 minus greater than the number is even. If a number modulo 2 is 1 minus greater than number is odd. Okay. Strings. What are strings? Strings are another way of saying text. Anything, whatever it is, anything enclosed by quotation marks is denoted as a string. Whether it's a number, whether it's a symbol, whether it's a any text, any character. Okay, whether if it is enclosed by quotation marks is known as strings. So we will take an example. So we are giving like this, game over, 4 was your final score. Okay, we are giving this in the quotation marks, it's known as a string. So we will use some concatenation. In place of 4 we will give here, we will add something known as plus. In quotation marks we will give here plus 4 plus, and was your final score. What will be the answer? The answer is same. If we give like this also and like this also, the answer will be same. But if we give here 4 plus 4, then the answer will be changed, that game over 4, 8 was your final score. If you misplace some if you misplace some space, see here, the answer will be, the result will be not correct. So for that you can give like this, you should give here some space. The 4 in the quotation marks is treated as a string, and 4 without the quotation marks is treated as an integer. For example, one 4 is there. 4 without quotation marks is not equal to the 4 with the quotation marks. 4 without quotation marks is known as an integer, and 4 with the quotation marks is known as string. Thank you for watching my video. We will meet in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.